Taiwan is bursting with heaps of fun places to explore. Join me, Amber Hatfield, as I hit up travel hotspots, soak up some culture, and hunt down hidden gems. Let's go! Hi, and welcome back to Let's Go. I'm your host, Amber Hatfield, and today we are diving into something that every foodie will love, the world of Bib Gourmand restaurants. So you've probably heard of the Michelin Guide, and that's the little red book that's considered the ultimate authority on fine dining. Getting a Michelin star is a really big deal for chefs and restaurants around the world. But did you know there's another Michelin distinction that celebrates amazing food at more affordable prices, and that's Bib Gourmand. In today's episode, we're going to explore Bib Gourmand, what it's all about, dive into its origins a little bit, and also hear from Marianne, who has some experiences to share about eating at Bib Gourmand restaurants in Taipei. So this is an episode you don't want to miss if you love food. So let's get started. So Marianne, do you want to share a little bit about the Michelin Guide itself and how it kind of got its beginnings?
Okay. I think all of us are familiar with Michelin in connection to the tires, right? So the founders in 1900 noticed that there were less than 3,000 cars on the roads of France, and to increase demand, they started this guidebook called Guide Michelin, or as we know it, the Michelin Guide, where they would provide practical information for motorists like maps, tire repair tips, car mechanic listings, hotels, and petrol stations around France. And over time, this evolved into providing information about restaurant listings, hotel coverage. And as the restaurant section gained popularity, the Michelin brothers decided to hire anonymous inspectors to visit and evaluate establishments to make sure that there are unbiased reviews of the restaurants. And that's how we know the Michelin Guide today.
Let's talk a little bit about Michelin stars first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have star ratings for your restaurant, there are 3 stars. The first star means that there's your restaurant has high quality cooking and it's worth a stop. If you get 2 stars, it's excellent cooking and worth a detour. And 3 stars mean that it's exceptional cuisine and it's worth a special journey. And inspectors that go to restaurants to provide reviews of the meals have their expenses fully covered by Michelin to ensure that the reviews are impartial and not influenced by the establishments that they evaluate.
I wonder how you get to be one of these reviewers.
Actually, that is something that I am curious about too. I have no idea.
I guess you've got to have a pretty high-end palate to be one of these reviewers, or can anyone just apply? That's interesting. Maybe I should look into it.
Okay.
With having these Michelin stars, obviously, I mean, Michelin-starred restaurants are expensive, right?
Yes. Most of the time, they cost a little bit more because especially if you get 3 stars, you expect to get amazing food, wonderful ambience, and just an experience in and of itself, I would say. So, yeah, that would come with a pretty high price tag, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that's where for kind of the common folk, like me and you,
the Bib Gourmand comes in.
The Bib Gourmand comes in, yeah. So
that's right.
What is Bib Gourmand then?
Okay, so the Bib Gourmand is basically recognizing restaurants that provide exceptionally good food at moderate prices. And to qualify, a restaurant must offer menu options below a price cap set according to local economic conditions.
Okay.
So similar to the Michelin stars, Bib Gourmand status can be awarded or revoked during the guide's annual regional ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regional ceremony.
Because we have the Michelin guides in different areas. You have in Europe, and then specific, it goes down to like specific countries. And there's an annual evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a ceremony like a big ceremony, or more just like an annual review of the book?
Michelin actually has an annual ceremony where they announce the year's ranking restaurants for both the Michelin guide, where you get the stars, and also for the Bib Gourmand status.
Okay. So I heard as well, I read while I was looking up for this episode, that the Bib Gourmand name comes from the name of the Michelin man. So you know the
Right.
Michelin man, the tire, the white, the big tire, marshmallow looking man.
yeah.
He's called Bibendum, and that's where the Bib Gourmand name comes from.
Right.
Yeah, from him. I never knew that's
cute.
what he was called, but yeah. So it's like high quality food, delicious food at affordable prices for everyday folk.
Right. Because
Yeah.
honestly, you can't eat every day at a high-end restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not practical,
Yeah.
but you can enjoy good food at moderate prices.
Yeah. So let's track back if you know more of the background of Bib Gourmand. Like, when did that start? Do you know about that?
It started in 1997,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when the guide started recognizing these restaurants
Okay.
to be part of the Bib Gourmand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it kind of reflects like the local food culture. Like you said, how there's a price cap for each area. So if you go to a country, I guess, where the GDP is maybe slightly lower, then the prices of these Bib Gourmand restaurants in those places would be also cheaper. So I guess in Bib Gourmand, you're also getting things like street food
Yes.
and other things like that, right?
Yes, you would, if you go to the restaurants, you would notice that they may be found near night markets. It could be a stall,
Uh-huh.
or it could also be like a literal hole in the wall.
Mm.
So in and of itself, I would say it's an experience to go explore these Bib Gourmand restaurants.
Yeah, so it's not the same kind of extravagant presentation. Because when I think about Michelin-starred restaurants in general, I think about kind of small portions and like everything presented in a really fantastical way.
Very pretty.
Very pretty,
beautiful,
maybe
yeah.
some little drips of sauce on the
Yes.
plate and that kind of stuff. Like it's a small food I always
Yeah.
think of. So I guess Bib Gourmand is just more like typical food, maybe hearty kind
Yes.
of food, or small snacks, or just really kind of normal food, but made with good ingredients and
Yes.
made with a really good flavor. Maybe like a family-run restaurant or something like this.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add about that, about the history of Michelin or Bib Gourmand, or should we move on to talk about Bib Gourmand spots in Taipei?
I would say in Taipei alone, there are 43 places that made it to the list. So I would highly recommend people who are coming to Taiwan, regardless of which city, to also check out the Bib Gourmand restaurants that are at the place you're visiting. Because if you're going to make that effort to travel, you might as well make a little bit of an effort to explore the food culture as well.
Yeah.
And food culture, if you don't really, I mean, you can go off on your own, but I think that would be more of a hit or miss kind of experience. And if you're going to explore a place, I would recommend enjoying the best that the place has to offer, because then you can really immerse yourself into the food culture and decide whether that's something you like or not.
Yeah. I think experiencing food while traveling is a really big part of it, right? It's a really big part of traveling. It's really interwoven into the culture of a place as well. And it's just really nice to try new things and different flavors and stuff that you don't have access to normally.
Right.
Yeah. Although I do think I need to be a little bit more exploratory around Taipei, because I typically just stick to the same things. So I've actually found out that I have eaten at one or two Bib Gourmand spots. I didn't even realize that I had
really?
eaten there.
Oh, cool.
There's one kind of near my place, which is Indonesian food, has like skewers. It was really, really good. And then when I was researching for this episode, I looked on the website and I was looking at all the different Bib Gourmand spots, and I was like, oh, I've been there. And it was really good.
Yeah. I would say that all of the places that I've tried really do offer delicious food, and I would love the chance to go back, like if given the opportunity.
Yeah. So I think there's quite a lot of diversity in what is on the website and what there is that's Bib Gourmand recommended in Taipei. So could you chat about a few of the things that you've tried in Taipei?
So I had a couple of friends who came over to visit, and I did my research to look into the Bib Gourmand restaurants, and one of the places that we went to is this Yuanfang Guabao shop, which is in Wanhua district.
Guabao is like a kind of like a steamed bun, which inside it has pork,
Yes.
meat.
Yes. It's traditionally filled with pork, cilantro, pickled vegetables, and peanut powder.
Mm.
So this restaurant, Yuanfang Guabao, was founded in 1955.
Ooh.
And what makes it different is that their pickled vegetables are chopped and stewed rather than stir-fried.
Okay.
So that gives it a cleaner, less oily taste.
Mm.
And the recipe they use layers the peanut sugar powder, the pickled vegetables, pork, and cilantro. And then they add more peanut sugar powder after to just prevent the marinade from soaking the bun and making it mushy. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really good.
It's making me salivate. It's making me hungry right now.
I know. You know what? It's for me, like, it's a bit of a distance traveling there. While you're in Wanhua district, you can also go around to the local sites, like go to the Longshan Temple and all. So it was a bit of a travel, but it was totally worth it. And always expect, like, when you go to this, I don't know about your experience, but my experience so far is whenever you go to any of these restaurants, just expect a bit of a line because the food is worth the wait, and so people are actually willing to line up for it.
Yeah. So what would you rate that one out of 10 then?
Oh, that's my favorite guabao place right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I really want good guabao, I'm gonna go here.
Every time?
Yes.
Wins every time?
Yes.
And what else have you tried on the Bib Gourmand ratings?
I've tried their beef noodle soup.
Okay.
It's again one of those famous Taiwanese dishes, like beef noodle soup, right? So there's this Lao Sandong homemade noodles in the Ximending area. And I tried their beef noodle soup, and it has drawn, according to the website, like this restaurant has drawn a loyal following since 1949.
Oh, wow. It's been open for a long time.
Yes. And the noodles are handmade. And so the noodles they're nice and soft, but have a chewy texture. And the broth is very flavorful, using Chinese herbs, and also that the beef is very tender. So if you've never tried beef noodle soup, I would recommend this place as a starting point. I personally prefer my beef noodle soup to be darker, like for the broth to be steeped in the herbs. I like that herby flavor.
Like the kind of Hong Shao, this kind of
yes.
one.
So, but if you've never had it, I think this is a good introduction because it has a very clean taste, but still gives you that flavor profile traditionally linked to like beef noodle soup. It's still the Hong Shao version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. However, the funny thing is, like, I went there to try the beef noodle soup, and I enjoyed it, but the reason why I go back now is actually for their dumplings.
Okay.
The reason why I really like their dumplings is because not only are they generous with the filling inside, but the chive dumplings that they make really remind me of home. They give me the sense of like homemade dumplings. It doesn't feel commercialized.
Right.
They're not stingy with the filling.
Yeah.
So it's a nice mouthful, and it just feels very homey whenever I go there.
Okay.
Yeah, and they offer like the usual side vegetables that go with the beef noodle soup and the dumplings. So it's a good experience.
Okay, so we've got 2 recommendations so far.
Yes. Near the Ningxian night market, there's Yuanhuan Pian oyster egg omelet. Again, very traditional Taiwanese snacks or small eats. So oyster omelet is very famous here in Taiwan. And I think this place really makes it well. I'm not an oyster omelet fan.
I'm not either, really, actually.
But their oysters are good. They serve other dishes that use fresh oysters, and those I would also highly recommend.
Okay.
Their oysters are very sweet. In addition to being fresh, they're sourced directly from Tainan. And also, this restaurant has been running since 1965.
Wow.
So a lot of these places have a lot of history.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So when I went there with friends, like, we had the oyster, like, they also have like clam soup, oyster soup, and then like, I can't recall if it's steamed oysters, but basically the food was pretty good. They also have ru rou fan, which is like the braised pork rice, which was all very good. So if you happen to be coming to Taipei, please drop by these places.
Yeah. So the place that I went to is called Satay House, Indonesian cuisine. So it's got the satay sticks, and the sauce on them is just so good.
Okay.
Oh, and the meat is so delicious. Oh, maybe I should eat that for dinner tonight.
Do they serve it as is or like as a meal?
So it's like a restaurant, so you can order other things. They don't just have that, but like that's what's kind of recommended as well to have that. Yum, yum, yum.
All in all, I would say like if you're planning a trip to Taiwan, take a little bit of time. It's not going to take a lot of effort. Just go to the Michelin website, go to their list of restaurants, and then do a quick search on the restaurants that will be in the area that you're at. You can then decide if you want to go check out one of the star-rated restaurants, or if you want to try out the Bib Gourmand restaurants. Either or, it's just really good, and you're sure to enjoy the experience.
That's about all we've got time for on today's episode of Let's Go. I hope you feel inspired to go and try out some delicious eats in Taipei. And let me know what you think. You can email me at amberesh@rti.org.tw if you have any thoughts about Bib Gourmand restaurants that you've tried in Taipei, or maybe you have any recommendations for ones that I should try. And I'll see you in next week's episode. Bye for now. You're tuning in to Radio Taiwan International, Taiwan's national broadcaster. Here at RTI, we have a range of entertaining and informative content for you to enjoy. You can find all of our content on our website at en.rti.org.tw. That's en.rti.org.tw for news, shows, and more. We're also on shortwave radio. If you're residing in South Asia, we broadcast from 1600 to 1700 UTC at 9405 kilohertz. From all of us here at RTI, we wish you a lovely day. Did you enjoy our program? Do you have any questions or feedback on what you just heard? Email us at rti@rti.org.tw. That's rti@rti.org.tw. And we will respond to all of your comments. We look forward to hearing from you.